Welcome back to another video. In the previous video we had a look at the git log command to view the history of our commits. So all the point in time snapshots we have taken, which are the commits, we had a look at them through the git log command. Next I want to talk about the git checkout command, because that's what we are going to use to revert back to these previous commits. So we can revert back to them to view our changes in those older commits. We use git checkout for a couple of things actually, and I'm going to go into more detail about this later on in the video, but we use it to switch branches. And the second thing is, as it says over here, to restore working tree file. So restoring the working tree file is going back in time to the previous commits, so reverting the state of the working directory to the previous commits. So in this video we're going to focus on the latter one, restore working tree file. So git checkout will revert your working directory to specific commits. Now if we have a look in the middle of the screen, there's a main branch timeline. So this is my branch, it's called the main branch, and this is my timeline of commits. And we have 4 commits here. In the middle of each box we can see the identifier of each commit using the first 7 digits, and the head is at the end, which is pointing to where the next commit will be. And as we can see, these commits are my actual commits, by the way, and I've taken a screenshot of the previous video of the command line console. We can see in black. And this is the git log, and this shows us all of our commits. So I have 4 commits, and this is a timeline of our commits. And we can see the identifier of each commit as well using the 7 digits. And the head is at the end, which is pointed to where the next commit will be. Now, when we do a git checkout followed by the identifier, this will revert to that commit, but also detach the head. The head is detached. It's now in a detached head state. This means the head pointer is not pointing to a branch. So it's no longer pointing to our main branch. Instead, it's just pointing to a specific commit. Usually the head points to the latest commit on the branch we are working on. And when you make new commits, they are added to that branch. In our case, it's the main branch. So what we can see is if I do a git checkout and we use the 43D0070, the second commit in our timeline, which is on the left, is added and remove some files. This in effect takes you out of the main branch timeline. So in effect it's being thrown off the main branch and it's not associated to any branch. And if we do a new commit, it will point to the end of this commit, so it's not associated to any branch. So why would we use git checkout and the implications of a detached head state? So git checkout is good for temporary experimental work, so you can experiment on previous commits. So you can make changes here and nothing will take effect, but bear in mind any commits you make whilst you're in a detached head state will not be associated to any branch, which in other words, they are known as orphaned commits. The commits can also be lost if you check out to another branch or you commit changes whilst in this detached head state. However, if you do like the changes you have made, there is a method to get this into a branch, which we'll have a look at. So we are now on git bash, and the first thing I'll do is check out my logs. So git log --, one line. And I'd like to go back to the very first commit I did. So this one here. Let's copy that one. The reason being is I added my file and my file2 to my git. But if we recall, we did not have the index.xml file, or we did not have my py file.py. We just had my file2 and my file. So if we go back to git bash and we do git checkout, and now if I paste in my identifier and press enter, note on the right hand side, and we can see that the files have disappeared and we only have my file and my file2. So everything has gone back to the state of this commit. So whatever state the commit was in, we're in that state now. So my file, my file2, and if you have many other files in here, for example, all of the changes within the files will be at that particular state. We can also do a dir from here as well. It will show us my file and my file2. And we can see it says git checkout and it gives us the identifier, and then it says no switching to, and then the identifier. But then it says you're in a detached head state. You can look around, make experimental changes and commit them, and you can discard any commits you make in this state without impacting any branches by switching back to a branch. If you want to create a new branch, retaining commits you create, so if we create commits here and we want to keep them, you may do so now or later by using the -c with the switch command, and then it gives us an example, git switch -c new branch name. Or you can undo this operation with git switch -, and it shows us that the head is now at this identifier, added my file and my file2 to my git. So this is almost the start of a new timeline. However, this is not attached to any branch. By the way, the git switch -c new branch name is a new way of doing it. We can also do it with a git checkout -b new branch name as well. And I'll describe the differences between the two at the end of the video. But we can still do a git status from here. And again, it says nothing to commit, working tree clean, and it tells us the head is detached. So instead, let's make a change to a file. Let's open up my file 2, test my changes in a detached head state. Let's save and close the file. And now we will do a git status. So we have a modified file. We can do a git add myfile2.txt, enter. Now this will add it to the staging area. Finally, let's do a git commit -m, give it a message. Test some commits in a detached head state and press enter. So it's always reminding us we're in a detached head state, so it says it over here as well. And if we run a git log from here, and we can see we have 2 commits in here now. The first commit is the one that we reverted back to, and this is the new commit we've just done now. Again, this is a detached head state and it's not associated to a branch. This is not the way we do version control. Version control is associated to a branch of commits. This is for experimental use only. Actually, if we do a git log, let's do a git log without the -- online. And usually in here we see the branch it's associated to, but we don't see anything. We just see the head. So now that we have played around with this commit in a detached head state, the way we revert back to a branch is with the command git checkout followed by the branch name, which is main in our case. And Git is quite good with information because it tells us, warning, you're leaving one commit behind, because we made a commit and it says not connected to any of your branches, and it gives us the commit identifier. This is the identifier up here, which my message was test some commits in a detached head state. And then it says if you want to keep it by creating a new branch, this may be a good time to do so. And then it gives us the command how to do that. So git branch and then new branch name followed by the identifier. Finally, it says switched to branch main. And we know we have switched to branch main because we can see on the right hand side, my index.xml file is back. And my file 2 should not have that comment I left inside it. So it's gone back to new changes and more changes. And it's removed the comment about the detached head state because I left a comment in there earlier. And of course, you can do a git log --1 line to verify I've got all my commits back, my 4 commits, which I have, and I can see we are in the main branch again as well. So this is one way of saving the changes to a new branch, but I've got another way as well. If we do a copy of that again, so if we copy it, let's go back into this detached head state. So git checkout, and then let's paste it in. Made a mistake, I used F instead of a G. So git checkout, and then let's paste in that identifier. I don't think I copied it the first time around. Let me do another one. Hopefully, third time lucky. Let me type it in instead. So we are checking out back to this commit in a detached head state. Now we can see on the right hand side we're back to my file and my file 2. Let me double click my file 2. So I have opened up my file 2 again. Test changes in a detached head state. Let's do a file and save here. So let's save the changes and let's do a git add myfile2.txt and let's do a git commit -m and leave a message testing changes in another detached head state. We can do a git log as well from here, git log --1 line. So we can see the 2 commits, and the new commit is this identifier here with my message. So traditionally the way we used to do this is using git checkout -b and then the branch name my_branch_2, but there was a lot of confusion with the git checkout command. So there is a new command as well, which is called the git switch -c command. So let's use the git switch -c command. And what this does is the git checkout -b command is effectively a shortcut for 2 separate commands. So it's a shortcut for git branch, which creates a new branch, and for git checkout followed by the branch name, which switches to the new branch. And the word checking out, by the way, means the head now points to this new branch. Or we can do this with a git switch -c command and a branch name. So git switch -c my_branch_2. And this will do the same thing. And I'm going to talk about the differences between git checkout and git switch next. So let's press enter here. Now it's telling us it's switched to a new branch, my_branch_2, using the git switch -c command. And if we do a git log from here, we can see our two commits. So added my file and my file2 to my git. This was my very first commit. And then my second commit, which we did in a detached head state, is testing changes in another detached head state. And now it shows us the head is pointing here within my_branch_2. So that's how you retain changes in a detached head state and move them into a new branch. Next, I want to talk about the two commands git switch versus git checkout. So the git switch -c followed by a new branch name for a new branch. That command combines the creation of a new branch and then switching to that branch in a single command, which is very similar to the git checkout -b new branch name command. And the reason for this is git switch is a newer command than git checkout. And due to git checkout being used for multiple things, it was a little bit confusing. For example, it's used for checking out to a specific commit, it's used to switch branches, and for file level operations, where git switch is used for one sole purpose, which is to switch branches. So that's its sole job, and because git switch has only one job, it's less error prone, as you don't accidentally check out commits or modify files. And that's it for this video. That's how you use the git checkout command to revert to previous commits. And that's how we exit the detached head state back into a branch, or we exit a detached head state and retain the changes, saving them to a new branch.